Hi everybody, very welcome to Mentour, yet another video podcast. As always, I hope you're all doing absolutely fantastic. So today guys, I'm going to talk about failure, how to persevere if something doesn't go your way, and what is needed of you if you're going to be successful in your job hunt or whatever it might be in your life that you want to succeed with. So first of all guys, the most important thing when I talk about this is to realize that you guys are the ones who are choosing what is a failure and what isn't. Okay. This means that depending on how you set up your goals or what you want to try to achieve, it's going to have a huge impact on whether or not you are going to feel successful. Even if you are actually succeeding or doing the same things, it's going to have a big impact on how you feel about it. Okay, and what do I mean by that? Well, for example, when it comes to looking for jobs, guys, which I'm guessing a lot of you who are watching this podcast are thinking about. If you go to a job interview, let's say that you have completed all your licenses and everything is done and you've started to send out CVs, you send out a lot of CVs and suddenly you get called for an interview. Okay. Now, most people that go for that first interview with an airline think that this is going to be the only interview that I will potentially ever get. Okay. So I have to do well on this interview. I have to get this job. Now, if you put yourself under that kind of pressure, it is very likely that you are going to be so stressed out by your own high expectations that you will actually do worse when it comes to the interview, because you are going to be really stressed, you are going to be really tense, you're probably not going to be as relaxed when you're answering questions or even when you're in the simulator showing what you can do. If you, however, change that perspective slightly and instead of thinking that this is the only chance you will get, you think that all right, so this is the first chance I will get. Now, I have no idea on how interviews are being done and what kind of test I'm expecting or how I will feel. So I'm going to do this as a learning experiment. And I am fully aware that it might take me several interviews to get my first job. So I will try to do my best at this interview, and I'm going to take whatever I learn from this experience and make me better for the coming interviews if needed. If you go into the interview with that kind of setting instead, it is far more likely that you're going to be more positive, that you're going to be more relaxed, and actually you might get that first job just because of a change in attitude, guys. So here is that is what I mean by that. You need to frame your own expectations in a way that will work well for you. Now, if you do fail, which a lot of people do, which I have certainly done, then you have to choose how to look at that failure. So I would, for example, strongly recommend that, first of all, I know that you are going to be disappointed. Let yourself be disappointed, but only for a while, okay? Do not dwell on the disappointment or the failure. Instead, once that initial feeling goes over, that might take a day or two, then sit down and very objectively write down what you've learned from the experience, what you felt went good, what you felt went less good, and then try to work on whatever it is that you think you could do better for the next one. Put yourself back in a positive frame of mind. Never ever get bogged down in something. And what I mean by that is that, for example, if I take a simulator session as an example, we actually tell people this in the briefing before we do any kind of simulator exam. Because if a pilot goes in and does a certain kind of exercise, let's say it's a circling, for example, and they make a huge mistake in the circling. If that pilot continues the rest of the session thinking about that failure, that thing that he did or she did that was not good, it's likely that every single exercise that comes after that is going to be very adversely affected by it. So you need to gain the skill of taking a deep breath, put it behind you and concentrate at the exercise at hand. And this goes for the job searching part as well. It goes for everything you do. If you make a mistake, everyone makes mistakes. It's completely human to make mistakes. But you have to put it behind you and concentrate on the next step, because otherwise you'll get bogged down and you'll get stuck. Okay? So remember that. Do not let failures or the feeling of failure bog you down. Take a deep breath, move forward. Another thing that I think is really important is if you feel that you've hit a major problem, okay, that you've a major disappointment or whatever, I feel that it's really important that you have someone to talk to. And this is why I have been pushing in all my podcasts that you have to take good care of your good friends around you, your family around you. Because those are the people who are going to listen to you when you need to kind of talk about these feelings, okay? So if you've had a major disappointment happening in your life, it might be professional, it might be private, you might have, lost a girlfriend or whatever it might be, then sit down with someone you trust and tell them exactly how you feel. Let the feelings out. Do not let your feelings get bogged inside of you, because that can lead to all sorts of stress problems with sleeping, things like that. So if you do have something that you need to speak about, find someone that you trust, speak about it. Do not sit and just complain, but let your feelings out. And then, crucially, listen to what they say. And the reason I tell you that is because it is likely that whoever it is that you're showing your feelings to will have a more objective viewing angle than you have. So if you're telling them this trauma and they say they help you out and they tell you that, yeah, but if you look at it from this perspective, it's actually not that bad. They are probably right, because they will be able to see that situation from a completely objective viewing angle, while you have a solely subjective viewing angle. So do listen to them, take it into account, and then work on feeling better, basically. Then, at the end, something that I feel is really important to point out, guys, is something that I've told you in other podcasts as well, is grit, okay? You will fail at certain stages. You will make mistakes during your training. You might miss the odd skill test or written exam or whatever it might be. You have to push forward, okay? You have to let your passion and your will to reach your target be the things that is guiding you towards your target, okay? You cannot let yourself get bogged down, like I said before. You have to continue working. Even when it feels like you cannot do it anymore, you have to continue. And that is called grit. Grit is one of your absolute strongest allies when it comes to getting your your airline job or going forward into your career. It is you who is going to have to do the legwork. You have to understand that you cannot give up, because if you give up, nothing will happen. But if you don't give up, remember that when the world closes one door, it opens another door somewhere. Life is like a multitude of roads, okay? They can all lead to the same goal at the end. But you have to realize this, and you have to look at which roads to take that will make you get closer to your target. Now, if one road turns out to be a dead end, then you can backtrack and you can take a different road. But there are multiple ways of achieving your target, and that's the most important thing here. Guys, that's all I have for today. I hope you like it. If you haven't already, remember to subscribe to the channel. Also, if you have time and willingness, if you want to see how we actually do things in the cockpit, then go and download my virtual reality application, Mentour 360. There are some quite exciting news coming up on that front very soon, guys, so stay tuned. For now, I just want you, as always, to have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.